I'm trying to solidify myself as a variety content creator, and there's two ways that I'm doing that. The first part is by making me the main part of my videos now, and while it doesn't quite feel natural and fully comfortable yet, I do think it's a step in the right direction for both me and my channel. And then two, I've given myself a rule. I am not allowed to upload 2 videos in a row covering the same game. And that's where we get a problem. I have become addicted to Dofus, and so today I'm breaking that rule. I thought I'd share how my journey is going, as this game is nothing like Wakfu, and I am so painfully newbie that I'm worried everyone's going to watch this and they're going to think that I am the worst gamer to ever grace this platform. To give you all some context, I still don't know how to open up my map. I've ended up just expanding my minimap, and at least that way I can have a rough idea of where I am and where I'm going. For further context, I've just discovered the most amazing trick that is helping me out more than you could ever imagine. Are you ready for this? Okay, here we go. Did you see that? I auto-moved. Apparently, if you press Ctrl and click on a zone on the map, your character just walks there, automatically. I discovered this at 3 AM in bed, because unfortunately, Dofus has such low requirements, my laptop can run the game flawlessly. Which means I finish playing on my desktop, I die over and over trying to clear the Royal Gobble dungeon, to the point where I actually rage quit, only to go to bed, and one YouTube video later, I'm back on until at least 3 AM, and I've done this for the last few nights. I know that I'm struggling on this dungeon because I'm solo, and I actually haven't finished a single gear set yet. I just cannot get any gear drops. I thought I'd go and grind the gobble parts, and I'll craft whatever I don't manage to get dropped, but I'm missing so many materials that I honestly think I might be doing something wrong, and so far, I've only had a ring drop. But that's getting really far ahead of ourselves. Since I have so many hours in Wakfu, I know all the classes, all the mobs, the gear sets, and anything I could possibly need to know about Dofus. I grabbed the Masqueraider, hopped into the tutorial zone, and I got questing. This is already the first major difference. I didn't do quests in Wakfu. It never felt worth it, so I just grinded. A few groups of mobs later, you were high enough level for your first dungeon, partnered up with 2 of your other characters, and you're all rocking a full gobble set. That did not happen in Dofus. Firstly, the mask played nothing like I expected, so after finishing most of Incarnum, I realised they weren't for me, and moved over to a Sram. Why Sram? Well, back when I did play Dofus a little bit, that's the character that carried me. I swear you could just put tons of traps down, and the mobs would just walk in them, and kill themselves, and there you go. You won without ever having to move. Now though, most of the mobs seem to actively avoid your traps. And my other issue with traps is I don't think they're ever the same element. So it felt really hard to build into them. Okay, next character, Eliotrope. This felt amazing straight away. Lots of AoE, great range, and you're not relying on traps to do your dirty work. Oh, and we get portals. I was really loving this, right until I was testing portal stuff, and a mob walked through my portal and killed me. Right, time for some reverse psychology. I never got the hang of Panda in Wakfu, so, since I didn't play them much, let's play them here. And actually Panda felt amazing. They're not the easiest to play solo, and at least early on I felt like I only really used 1 or 2 skills, and the whole need for being drunk just didn't seem to be there, so I didn't really get to utilise the main mechanic of Panda. Once I got my barrel I was really excited, until I realised I couldn't use most of my abilities carrying the barrel, so all the buffs that it provided on paper didn't seem so good in practice. But picking up and throwing enemies was for me the best part about Panda. It did great damage, and if you threw them over a gap, you were almost guaranteed to be safe from them next turn. I was almost set on Panda, but they felt a little bit difficult, so I thought I'd try 1 or 2 more things. And now we're actually basically all caught up, because we're going to be talking about who I'm going to be maining. The Foggernaut, who I've also heard being called Steamer. Honestly, the name Steamer actually makes more sense, but whatever. I'm not entirely sure why they're labelled 3-star difficulty. To me, at least so far, they seem like one of the easiest and the most forgiving. And I almost want to say overpowered. But I've only just hit level 43, I'm still very low level, but I'm just having such an easy time with them. And I'm using a lot more skills than I do on any other character. At least with combat I'm having an easy time, but we'll cover that later. Fogger is amazing. We have a harpoon turret that shoots 3 targets for honestly ridiculous damage at a really good range. We have a healing turret that heals me and my other turrets. And lastly we have a turret that I keep accidentally killing myself with, and I think it's called Attack Turret. I for some reason just cannot get my head around this thing's range. and I keep just blasting myself with it. I'm building mono fire right now, and I think that's intelligence. Fogger's turrets say that they do damage based on your highest element, so trying to spread out points just doesn't seem worth it. Surely it just hinders the capabilities of your turrets. And so far, my 2 big fire AoE skills are incredible. One of them actually lowers the level of all the turrets it hits, but the other one actually levels them all up. Each turret has 3 tiers, so they can be leveled up twice. And this isn't time limited. Once they've been improved, they stay that way for the whole fight. The only catch is you can only have 1 level 3 turret active at a time. So I always have my harpoon turret as level 3, and then you actually get to control them, which doesn't really seem necessary. So if there's an option to have it auto once they hit level 3, I might turn that on. I've been using the Fogger to cheese the Royal Gobble dungeon, trying to get myself my first full set, though now it might not be worth it since I'm past level 40. Here's how I've been doing it. I sit myself in the corner and I block off my 2 sides with the harpoon turret and a heal turret. Like I said, I don't use the tack turret anymore since I've killed myself with it so many times. I do however sometimes summon it out of the way just to try and lure the Black Gobble away and to stop it from ruining my formation. Whenever I can apply armor, I will. This way my healing turret doesn't die. If it does get too close to dying though, I will just improve it and I'll drop down a big AoE to bring the harpoon back to level 3. Improving heals turrets, and I think it might be to full. Now I just shoot whoever I can, prioritising the Royal as he heals the others, but not himself. It's not a fast run, but it's solo and it works. Lastly, I just want to go over a couple of my struggles, just in case anyone might be able to offer some advice. A lot of it feels less so now I've discovered that you can control click, but the second I go to Astrub on any character, I just feel so overwhelmed, which is why I ended up just running up to the Gobble Town and farming for a new gear set. There are so many quests, and this is an old school MMO. The quests aren't mindless, they require some thought, and it feels like a lot of them require knowledge of the game beforehand. There was one instance I had to stand on a pressure plate to open a door to find my NPC, and I just don't know how I'm supposed to know to do that. It might have said somewhere in the quest info, but I'll be honest, I'm really struggling to navigate the UI. So when I had 20 plus quests active, I just couldn't figure out what to do first, where to go. It was just all too much. I am now slowly going back through, and I'm focusing on working on achievements for the massive XP and camera rewards. I'm starting with Astrub, since I did do Incarnum, but there are just 2 achievements I cannot get. For whatever reason, the rest of my harvest quests don't exist. I've tried speaking to the old fella many times, but he just will not give me another quest. I don't know if I'm missing something or if the quests just aren't in the beta yet. The other problem is something I briefly touched on earlier in the video, and that's gear. The marketplace has basically no gear or materials, and I'm guessing that's just because it's such low level stuff that I'm looking for. Why would anyone bother crafting spares or farming the materials? But I spent hours last night grinding gobbles, and I've only got a ring to show for it. I couldn't get any warhorns, ticks, or eyeballs. I even swapped off the extra XP for extra drop chance, at least when I remembered to, since the game keeps defaulting back to XP for every single fight. This is one of my few bugbears about Dofus so far. I also got very confused when I was looking up crafting, since some of the materials are also crafted, and some of those crafted materials also use craftable materials. It got very confusing, and after 3 or 4 tabs, I stopped going any further. But apart from my struggles, I'm having an absolute blast. And it's somewhat of a problem since today was my last day of reading week, and I've done no reading. Thankfully, it's only been 2 days without a video, before I eventually gave in and decided just to make some more Dofus content. I don't doubt I'll keep covering Dofus, I just need to get other content out there too. Anyways, if you've got any thoughts or tips on anything I've said today, please do let me know. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye bye.